nearlydanish.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get ready to rumble!
All right. All right. So 80 people got this right, and almost 100 people got this wrong. This is so the question is about what party was Paul Nyrup Asmussen the chairman for while he was prime minister from 93 to 2001, and the correct answer is the Social Democratic Party. One thing I want to mention in these cahoots is the purpose of these cahoots is for you to find out what you don't know. Okay? So please do not feel bad if you don't get things correct. And please do not wait until you've read the book before you come to these cahoots. Come to the Kahoot even if you don't know anything. Okay? Because the Kahoot will show you what you don't know, show you where you need help. And also, when I upload this to the website, it will pop up on your profile so you can go and fix that knowledge gap. Okay? That's the purpose of these Kahoots. Do not wait until you've read the book before you come. A lot of people say to me, oh, I don't know anything, I've not read anything, so I'm not going to do well. It doesn't matter. Come here, figure out what you don't know, and plug that knowledge gap. And actually, it will help you keep your mind focused on what you need to know. All right? Next one. All right, so first leaderboard we have in this session, Kirby 9, 1, Leo 2, Angel 3, Zilan 4, and Kari 5. Let's see if they lost. So Melbourne Escapes poem is right after this. So just hang in there. And please stop posting the answer in the chat. Please stop posting the answer in the chat. The purpose is for you to try. Okay? If you keep posting the answer in the chat, I'm going to get rid of you from the meeting. So please stop doing that. A majority of you got this right, so a round of applause. Next one. All right. Mo, please stop posting. Oh my God. Okay, I'll say this again. Stop posting the answer in the chat. If you keep posting the answer, I'll have to remove you from the meeting. Okay? Isa, Fa, and Mo, please do not post the answer in the chat. You're not helping. All right. The correct answer is yes. If one person in a marriage wants to get a divorce, it doesn't matter if the other person doesn't want it or not. Moving on to the next one. Okay, so 71 players just hit an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
On to the next one. All right. 1 second while I remove this guy, man. He looks like he doesn't want to listen. Okay. Okay, so this is a good example of what I'm about to say. So the test is made up of frequently asked questions and brand new questions. So what is a frequently asked question? A frequently asked question is a question that has shown up more than one time in all the previous tests. And a brand new question is a question that has never shown up before. This is an example of a brand new question. It came from chapter 5. And by the way, chapter 5 is usually the chapter where a lot of the new questions come from. So chapter 5 and chapter 6. And coincidentally, those were the chapters that were updated. Now, when you're practicing with the quizzes on the website, you will see, let me just go here. You will see under each question, there's some kind of indication. It says potential new question. So this is a question that has never shown up in any test, okay? And some of the questions will say, it will say this question has shown up in 5 tests or something like that. An example of that is, let me see if this actually works. The frequently asked questions, you'll see that the most frequently asked question is the question about the women's right to vote. And this has shown up in 12 tests. And it also showed up in this test we're practicing today. So 13 tests so far. Moving on to the next one. All right, so we have Razan, Leo, Treyant, Neil, and Diamond. 40 players just set an answer streak of 4.
Excellent.
On to the next one. Francis Healy. How much does what cost? It's free, man. This is a frequently asked question. So it showed up in the previous test. I think it showed up once or twice. And what that means is that if you had just practiced with all of the previous tests, you will most probably get this right. Round of applause to 147 of you. All right, on to the next one. All right, 24 players just hit an answer streak of 4. Razan is still at number 1. Moving on to the next one. All right, be back. I can tell you didn't watch the video, so I will be posting the link right now. Please watch the video and see if you can join the session. If not, please make sure you join the next one on Sunday. All right, so the European Parliament consists of politicians that were elected directly from the countries. This is a frequently asked question, meaning that it has shown up in at least one more test. I think maybe 5 tests this has shown up in. For the people that got this wrong, you're going to hear me say this a lot. Now you know what you don't know, okay? And this is a question that you must know the answer to because it is an FAQ. All right, moving on to the next one. Oh, a lot of people in the top 5 messed this one up. Anyways, next one. Okay, so BBL, did you watch the video? You didn't watch the video, watch the video. All right, I'll repeat this again. If you're having problems joining the Kahoot, watch the video. on how to join. It is necessary that you watch that video so that you get the most out of this, okay? Right. Yes, so you appeal from Buurraad to Landsraad. And you appeal from Landsraad to Huisraad, and after Huisraad, you cannot appeal. So Huisraad is the Supreme Court. On to the next one. All right, 18 players have reached an answer streak of 7. Rezan is holding number 1, Zilan is 2, Leo 3, Biz 4, and Diamond 5. Next one. Frequently asked question as well. Okay, Fadumo, please don't post the answer in the chat. If you do, I will remove you. Okay, so on to the next one. Duke is making a comeback with 3 in a row, and he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
All right, next one. Okay, so this is a brand new question. So it had never, the book was updated with this guy. And this is from chapter 5. And like I said before, a lot of new questions come from chapter 5. So chapter 5 is actually a chapter that it's important for you to focus some of your attention on, because a lot of new questions usually come from there. And well, not actually, let me see. So 99 people got this wrong. So more than half of you got this wrong. Well, now you know what you don't know. Plug that knowledge gap. It will show up on your profile. Where's the sad trombone? Sorry about that. All right. It's a complete reshuffle of the top 5. Rezan 1 is holding on to that number 1 spot. Leo number 2, Diamond number 3, DI 4, Andre 5. Tequil Cook is the highest climber, up 25 places.
Great job.
On to the next one. Frequently asked question as well. So the Socialist People's Party was created in 1959, and it was they came out of the Communist People's Party. By the way, a list that you need to make is a list of all the parties in parliament, their leaders, and the year that they were created. Make that list, because you're most definitely going to see a question about either when a party was created, whether a party is older than another party, or who is the leader of a party. Okay, you're going to see at least 1 or 2 of those types of questions in the next test. On to the next one. All right, Lily's the highest climber, up 20 places. Wow.
Wow!
Round of applause. Okay, Tulika, we are going to practice for Melbourne Escapes poem right after this. So just hang in there. Also, these questions are also relevant for Melbourne Escapes poem. So if you can do well in this, you definitely will do well in Melmo's phone. Okay, Faduma, thank you. Sorry, I have to kick you out. You seem not to want to listen to the instructions. Where is he? Remove. All right. Sorry about that, man, but you gotta go. All right, so the Faroe Islands has 50,000 inhabitants. On to the next one. Okay. So Jody is back with an answer streak of 3. I'm not sure if Jody is a guy or a girl. I'm guessing it's a girl.
She's on fire.
Excellent.
All right, next one. Okay. Next one. All right, so majority of you got this right. Round of applause. And like I said, if you didn't get it right, it will show up on your profile so you can fix that. Next one. All right, so this is a frequently asked question. How is Sankt Hans celebrated? It's celebrated by burning like pieces of wood and a big, what's that thing called in English? It's like a heap of wood. Anyways, next one, you get the point. The majority of you got that right. Burchik is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my!
Yes.
He's on fire!
A bonfire. All right, on to the next one. All right, so this is a frequently asked question. Johannes V. Jensen won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1944. This has shown up in at least 5 tests. So this is a question that you need to know the answer to, okay? So for the people that got this wrong, it will show up on your profile. Get it right when it shows up. On to the next one. Carla, I will show you. Let's try get through this. All right, round of applause. All right, so far Rezan is holding that #1 spot. I'm not sure if he has, I think he has a perfect score. But anyways, round of applause to you, man. For Carla, after this Kahoots, within about an hour after the end of the Kahoot, I will be importing everyone's scores into the leaderboard. And from here, you'll be able to find your profile. It says, find your name below and click on it to see your progress. And when you click on it, you will find your profile with your progress, okay? So this is where you do all the quizzes, and it keeps track. And it also asks you, how prepared are you? And it tells you what percentage. So according to this, I am 1.05% prepared. All right, we're moving on. Next one. DH has a streak with 16 correct answers in a row. I think that's a perfect score. Where is that perfect score? Perfect score.
Perfect score.
Round of applause. All right, Ian Hillsliston has never been in a government before. By the way, there were 13 new questions in this test. This was actually one of the harder tests, as I predicted. I don't know if the next one will be even harder, but let's see. Meanwhile, we're just moving on to the game. Someone fell out, can't remember who, but Chris Owner is now in the top 5. Next one. We're almost at the halfway point. All right. So before 1661, power was shared between the king, the nobles, and the church. I think it was 1661, absolute monarchy was introduced, and the king took over power. Basically, the king installed himself as the head of the Danish People's Church, and therefore became the most powerful entity. And this carried on from 1661 up until 18. When is Grundloven for us? It's 49, right? Up until that time when it changed to a constitutional monarchy. All right, next one. 1, 2, 3, 4 is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Excellent.
Next one. All right. So the 1960s, there was high economic growth in Denmark. I think it was the 90s where a lot of things went south. But anyways, majority of you got that right. Raisin is still holding that #1 spot.
Excellent.
NKJ is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
We have got 24 questions to go. This is a brand new question. All right, so about 80% of Greenland is covered in ice. Brand new question, never shown up before. For the 49 people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. Plug that knowledge gap, it will show up on your profile. We have a static top 5. Reza #1, Leo 2, DI 3, Diamond 4, and Andre at 5. Pips is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
I'm not sure if it's a guy or girl, but I think it's a dude. On to the next one. We're reaching the halfway point. All right, round of applause. So this was a brand new question from chapter 6. So I'm actually quite surprised most of you got this right, but I guess this is general knowledge. For the people that didn't get this right, you can plug that knowledge gap on your profile later. Static top 5 still. DH is back in the game with 3 in a row.
Great job!
Next one. All right, so I think this is a brand new question. Piakiesko was the leader of Dance Folkparti, and it was created in 1995. Remember what I said. Make a list of all the political parties that are in parliament, the year that they were created, and who is the leader of the party. Okay, so Piakiesko is actually a very prominent figure in Danish politics. So make a note of that. On to the next one. All right, Dumbo is making a comeback with 3 in a row. Frequently asked question. Oh yes, and like Trent just wrote, Pia Kjærsgaard was the first female leader of the parliament. So Folketing's foreman, she was the first female. All right, so Carl Nielsen, this is a frequently asked question. He is arguably Denmark's most famous composer. On to the next one. It's a static top 5 still. It's a new question. All right, round of applause. Static top 5, Kirby 9 is back in the game 3 in a row.
Excellent.
Next one. All right, so Nina Bang, first female minister appointed in 1924 by Thorvald Stauning, and that was coincidentally the first social democratic prime minister, Thorvald Stauning. This is a frequently asked question. So if you had practiced with all the previous tests, you would have seen this name at least twice. On to the next one. We have a static top 5, Rezan, Leo, D.I., Diamant, and Andre. And the angel face is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Great job.
Next one. Okay, so 15% of the population are made up of immigrants and their descendants. How many people got this wrong? 69. I'm actually surprised. Well, now you know what you don't know.
Now you know what you don't know.
On to the next one. No one is touching that top 5. This was a tough round. 6 players lost their answer streak of 3. Sorry, guys. Next one. All right. So Denmark was not invaded by German troops in World War I. Denmark was actually neutral in World War I. Just wanted to mention something. So just to go back here, okay? I wanted to mention in this game, right? You get rewarded for speed in the Kahoots. You get rewarded for speed. You also get rewarded for accuracy, also in the Kahoots, but also in the quizzes. And you get rewarded for consistency. Okay? Now, in the real test, you're only rewarded for accuracy. As you can see here, as I actually put your Kahoot accuracy and your quiz accuracy. Really, all that matters is your accuracy, but I put the consistency there because if you're not consistently practicing, you're not going to do really well. So you should practice every day, ideally, even if it's 1 quiz a day, okay? Hopefully you're doing more than 1 quiz a day. You're doing it to actually, complete the whole thing before the test. The goal is to do all the quizzes at least 5 times before the day of the test. And that's equivalent to reading the book 5 times. Actually, it's better than reading the book 5 times because the information is stuck in your head. Okay. Moving on to the next one. Dolo is making a comeback with 3 in a row. All right. Remember what I said. Make a list of all the political parties, their leaders, and the year that they were created, because you're going to see at least 1 or 2 related questions in the test. On to the next one. All right, so finally there's some movement. Diamant just overtook DI for the number 3 spot. So at the moment we have Rezan, number 1, Leo, number 2, and Diamant at number 3. So that's the podium at the moment. DI is 4 and Andre is 5. Age 72 is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Excellent.
Next one. All right, 75% of the women between 16 and 64 are in employment. Syed is asking, is this list available somewhere with the political parties Yes, the list is available, but I highly recommend that you make it yourself. That way you actually remember better, okay? So try and make it yourself. So go to the ft.dk, go find where all the parties are listed, and that list is actually there. Okay, on to the next one. Static top 5. DK is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. Okay, someone is asking Wednesday or Sunday session. No. Okay, these are good questions. I will answer them after this question. Okay, so how many people got this wrong? 52 people got this right. Actually, not bad. 140 people got this right. This is a frequently asked question about the Folketing's ombudsman. So it's a control. It's a control entity. Basically, it makes sure that there is no negligence or failures when the public authorities are dealing with the public, basically. And it is appointed by the Folketing, and it's supposed to be independent. To answer these questions that have come, it says Wednesday and Sunday session have the same quiz or different quiz. Different quizzes. Okay, so we don't practice the same thing on all the days. Okay, the point is we are going through every single thing, and during these Kahoot sessions, we talk about questions that are difficult for people. For instance, if a whole bunch of people fail in one question, we talk about that question. Okay, for instance, this one. And also, I share tips and tricks, things that you should and shouldn't do when you're taking the test. I also give you more information on how to approach things. We haven't talked about Danish values yet. There's going to be a dedicated session to the Danish values, current affairs as well. So basically just come to all the sessions, okay? And that way you have a higher probability of passing. Okay, which book is he referring to? That's a good question. When you go to nearlydanish.com, there are 2 tests, INDFØDSRETSPRØVEN for citizenship and Melbourne Escapes Porn for permanent residence. And there are books. So the book for INDFØDSRETSPRØVEN and the book for Melbourne Escapes Porn. They're 2 different books. This has more history in it. This has less history, and they're basically very similar. But yeah, these are the books I'm talking about. If you're looking for them, nearlydanish.com, click on that. It will show you a PDF. Moving back to the game. Next one. Static top 5. All right, so this is from chapter 5 under movies. This, I think this is a frequently asked question. No, I'm not sure, This question hasn't been asked before, but this movie has shown up before in the previous tests. But this specific question about this movie has shown up before. Anyways, like I said before, a lot of new questions come from chapter 5, okay? So make sure you pay close attention to the information in chapter 5. It's about performing arts, movies, music, everything to do with culture, basically, Danish culture, in terms of the creative arts. All right, on to the next one. We have a static top 5. Nothing is going on in this top 5. Ivy is back with an answer streak of 3.
She's on fire!
Excellent.
All right, next one. Also new. So in the 1600s, there were lots of wars between Denmark and Sweden, and that's what this question is about. They haven't asked this question like this before, but it's a very straightforward question. It's brand new, never shown up in any previous test. So I'm not surprised that this many people actually got this wrong. Almost half of you got this wrong. Well, now you know what you don't know.
Now you know what you don't know.
Plug that knowledge gap. Next one. All right, Andre is out, Treyan is in. Burchik is back in the game with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. All right, this is the most frequently asked question, but asked in a different way. Let's see how you guys do. So, out of all the questions, you must know the answer to this. Okay, so 56 people got this wrong. Like I said, you must, this is a must. You must know the answer to this question. So women got the right to vote in 1915, okay? They're asking the same question, but in a different way. So they're saying, did women get the right to vote when the Constitution was made in 1849? And the answer is no, because they got the right to vote in 1915. So it's the same question, but asked in a different way. All right, moving on to the next one. Static top 5. DNM is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Excellent.
Next one. We are almost at the end now. All right, so the pension age has been going up since 2018 and it will keep going up. Next one. All right, slight reshuffle. Diamond is, no, sorry, DI is back on the podium at number 3. Diamond fell to number 4. Treyan is out. Andre is back, and HN has the highest answer streak of 34. That's a perfect score. Wow.
Wow!
Perfect score.
Who is HN? Round of applause, man. All right, this is also a frequently asked question. And when I say frequently asked, remember, I mean you must know the answer to this. All right, so Denmark joined the United Nations in 1945 when it was created. I want to say a bit more about frequently asked questions. So on your profile, you will see this section called frequently asked questions, okay? It's broken down into 4 parts, about 200 questions in total. You must know the answers like cold to every single one of these questions, because 22 questions from the previous exam were actually a part of this bunch, okay? So if you practice this, at least you have about 50% of the test. And then the rest is new questions and, of course, current affairs and Danish values. All right. Moving on to the next one. Too Cool for School is back in the game. 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. We're now in current affairs. All right, so at his call, they allowed a abortkansen. I've forgotten the English names, English words for all these things. To be raised from 12 to 18 weeks. The theme for this, I actually haven't figured out the theme for this. I'll figure it out and I'll come back to this later. But in general, the themes, the current affairs questions follow very specific themes. And this was the only question I didn't predict correctly. The rest of the current affairs questions, we actually predicted them correctly, okay? So pay attention to the coming ones. All right, Olena is back in the game with 3 in a row.
She's on fire.
Excellent.
All right. All right, so the theme for this is political parties and their leaders, okay? And there is a section on the quizzes in current affairs. Oh God, I removed it. Let me see if I can find. Anyways, I'll put it back. But in current affairs, there's a section for political parties and their leaders, and there's another one for the government. But the theme for this, keep that in mind. This is the reason why I said make that list with all the political parties, the leaders, and the years that were created, because so far we've come across 3 questions just on that theme alone. 1 in current affairs, 2 in history. So you can tell it's important. Moving on to the next one. All right, we have Raisin, Leo, Diamond, BI, and Andre. 13 players have reached an answer streak of 4.
Excellent.
Next one. We predicted this one as well. This is anniversaries, significant anniversaries and specifically in the royal family. And so Christian, he's in line. He's a future Danish king, basically, and he just turned 18, which is the legal age in Denmark. And that's significant, and that showed up in the test. And we predicted that correctly. Leo is on fire. Leo has the highest answer streak of 38. Leo is not number 1. If not, he would have gone an explosion, but he has a perfect score.
Perfect score.
And he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
On to the next one. We're almost at the end. Well, almost at Danish values. All right, so this this was a huge scandal. The theme for this is state affairs, okay? So this was what I can't remember, someone was going to burn the Quran, and basically it's been banned now and you can go to jail if you burn any of the holy books, the Quran, the Torah, or the Bible. All right, moving on. We predicted this, by the way. On to the next one. So someone is asking, current affairs is the scope within the last 6 months, meaning December 23. Exactly. And as time goes on, I will be making a list in the group and on the website of all the news items that fit these themes: state affairs, significant anniversaries, the royal family, famous dead people. I'll basically, as we keep going, I'll show you what these themes are. And I also will be collecting news items that fit those themes. We also predicted this correctly. So the theme of this is state visits. Either when a head of state or a president visits Denmark, or the head of state, who's the king right now, or the prime minister of Denmark visits some other country. So the theme here, I repeat, is state visits. And in August 2023, Zelensky visited Denmark. All right, I think that was the last one in current affairs. We're moving on to Danish values now. I'm not going to do a lot of talking on this, but let's see. Because there will be a dedicated session for this. All right, round of applause. Players reached an answer streak of 4.
Wow! Excellent.
Next one. All right. The answer is both men and women can be bishops in the Danish church. Wow! Leo took over at the last minute. Round of applause. All right. Next one. Lots of people mess this question up. Well, I will be talking about it later on. Basically, the theme of this question is freedom of speech. So you can't ask that anyone censor what they think, and you can't ask that people not criticize your religion, basically. And the way the thing about the Danish values questions is that they're actually pretty simple. It's either yes or a no, okay? But the way the question is asked can be a bit twisted. The trick, though, is to understand the context of the question. And if you understand the context of the question, then it automatically leads you to the answer. I have recorded a video on this, and we will have another session where we actually focused on Danish values. So just hang in there, okay? Leo holding on to that number 1 spot, leading Rezan by 22 points. Genny is back in the game with 3 in a row.
Excellent.
Someone is asking about current affairs. So for current affairs, focus on news from December 2023 to May 2024. Everything else you can forget about. Something that's definitely going to show up in current affairs is a question about the new king. All right. Got 2 more questions to go and we're done for this. Done with this. Ah, shucks. I cut the question short because Kahoot doesn't allow more than 7 characters, but the full question is there. The theme of this is crimes against the state. So if you commit a crime against a minister, a kind of violent crime, basically you're committing a crime against the state and you can get thrown in jail for life. All right, last question. All right, so the podium at the moment is Leo, Rezan, Diamant, DI, and Andre. 3 players just hit an answer streak of 14. Round of applause. Let's see what happens next. This is the last question. Olena, what's up? You can write the question in the chat, okay? All right. So the question is basically which public authority can basically cancel a foreigning that tries to achieve its goals with violence? And the answer is the court. And they did that with loyalty familia. I think a couple years, no, I can't remember what year that was, but that's been done before. Anyways, this is the last question. Hang around to gather some points for Melbourne Escape phone. Let's have a look at the podium. All right, Diamond is at number 3. Leo fell back to number 1. Of course, Rayzan got his, sorry, number 2. Rayzan got his number 1 spot back. All right. Vi and Andrea number 4 and 5. Let's see.
NearlyDanish.com.